everyone. My name is Nathan Pay, and welcome to another episode of Coffee and Crypto. We have special guest Artur here with us from Forged Arena. Super glad to have you on the show, Artur. This is a real treat for us. You know, a lot of us at the Game Guild have been playing Forged Arena for quite a while now, and they've actually been the ones asking me to get you on the show. So thanks so much for taking some time today. And we might as well just jump kind of right into it. And I know the first question that a lot of the community members are curious about, and me myself, is what got this all started? Like, what got you into Web3 and why Forged Arena and Nugent Labs? Like, what's the origin story there?
Wow, that's a really great question. Well, first of all, thank you for having me. I did see a couple of you guys in the arena. You gotta play a little bit more if you want to be at our level, but you're getting good. You're getting good. It's clicking some heads.
Appreciate that.
Yeah, in terms of origin story, to be honest, it feels like this is my life's work since it started. You know, I've been a gamer since I was 5 years old. I started playing Counter-Strike 1.3 or 5 back in my home country in Moldova, Eastern Europe represent. We moved to Canada when I was 7 years old. So we I didn't have a PC for a couple of years because it was a little bit harder for my parents and stuff. But quickly, you know, I got back into it pretty fast. You know, like I got a computer, started playing RuneScape, then Counter-Strike. Those are my OG games. Started building a web hosting company and game servers back in high school. So I was already building communities in Counter-Strike Source, which really, I think it was a big inspiration for me because Counter-Strike, why it exists and still exists over the last 20 years and plus so far, it's because of the community. And Counter-Strike Source was a perfect example of it because you can see that the open source aspect and the Steam API allow developers and artists to create around the game. So it was like, you know, moving up to Global Offensive with the host skins stuff, where most of my background of success comes from, is the marketplace op skins that I started in 2015, which I sold afterwards in 2017 to what today you guys know as the Wax blockchain. So for me, it was kind of seeing it, how can we bring it to the next level in terms of skins 2.0, you know? So Forge Arena really originated from the beginnings of my passion for Counter-Strike, but also with everything we've seen in the blockchain and NFT space when it got hot and all the people talking about monkeys and profile pictures and unfortunately still talking about profile pictures. I was like, okay, how can we bring this technology to the next level in gaming? And we quickly realized that it's not just about gaming. I think the NFTs and blockchain, the technology behind it, and especially with the rise of AI, I think it's quite interesting how any industries can be currently completely changed forever, you know. So for us, it was normal that Forge Arena started in 2017 as a traditional game. And we quickly moved towards the Wax blockchain in 2018. We were the first game to integrate NFTs before they were called NFTs, I guess. It was VGO skins. A lot of people in the Wax on the Wax community, if they're OGs, they know it. Didn't work out good for VGO, but we were actually a game that integrated those, you know. So it was kind of the first look at how can we integrate and give utility to profile pictures, basically, or digital assets, right? And gaming is everything. I think gaming is everything, and everything going out in the space. It just makes sense that we keep going and moving forward with all these initiatives that we have inside the arena.
Thank you for that. That really explains a lot, especially with the background.
Yeah, I talk a lot, but I'm just great. So many things in my head, but. If you want to cut me, you can cut me.
No, please do. That really did a great job kind of explaining why you're involved in this. Just some background myself, you know, I as well played Counter-Strike when I was younger. I was on a competitive team for 1.6. Nice. I used to do leagues. We played in the World Cyber Games preliminaries in Halifax, Nova Scotia.
Was that Call?
Actually.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I played Call Main and Civil Pro and Source.
Okay. Yeah, made it from Cal O to Cal P and kind of started doing the World Cyber Games for a little while. And
nice.
Then StarCraft stole my heart and kind of took me away from first-person shooters for a little while. So kind of similar background. I've been playing games most of my life, and the Game Guild just kind of made sense when we got that opportunity, because we have a marketing firm that was mostly focused on Web 2. We started working with a lot of Web 3 projects and clients. And of course, naturally, that just really exposed us to this space full speed ahead. And we've really, built a community that wants to focus on esports and really the competitive side of Web3 gaming. So obviously with that, first person shooters are way up there, top of the list. So, when we were kind of dabbling and looking into Forged Arena and everything you guys were doing, it was like, wow, these guys are doing it right. I really love what you're doing with all the skins, the diversity, and I'm really kind of curious. I know maybe I've got a couple other questions I can ask, but I'd love to ask you about the recent update, because that's something that I'm personally, firstly, awesome job with the reducing reload time. I think that was a wicked move. I feel like it just adds this fast-paced kind of ness to the whole thing that was I wouldn't say it was needed, but it was a nice surprise, just from a competitive perspective. And then also some of the changes to some of the game modes. So I'm kind of curious, what were your guys' motivations with some of those changes? And what are a couple things that we can look forward to that are maybe not long-term, but coming up on the horizon in the next couple of months that you guys can discuss?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, right now, we're still on the old version of Unreal Engine. So while we're migrating towards the latest version of 5.1, you can see on our Twitter that we already started creating content like the Fabulous map with the Brazilian partnership with BayZ that we're actually doing. This is just what is yet to come, but as most people know, we're coming soon on Epic Games Store. So far, we planned it on last December, but things happen, and we try to we've been bootstrapping this development since the beginning. Since 5 years, we started 5 years ago. So right now, we're trying to do anything we can on just trying to update the maps and kind of tweak things around. Like it's nothing big, like everything is already there. It just needs a little bit of tweaking and update on the new engine. It's going to look even more gorgeous than it already is. And with Epic Games, for us, this is what we're looking forward is the bridging the gap between Web 2 and Web 3. Everyone is talking about it, and they still talk about it for a year. And I'm like, yo, just let's stop talking and let's do it.
Let's do it.
Our goal is to go free to play on Epic Games. It's going to be closed beta phases. I hope it starts in March. I don't want to get your hopes up, but that's what we're trying to aim for. It looks promising so far. So we've been doing a lot of work in the back end, but it's coming, and it's going to go closed beta phases, basically one phase, 1 month. We're going to allow specific amount of people from one phase to another until our big day that we want to respect this year, absolutely, is the E3, the open beta launch. So that's in June. And that's where we wanted to really mass adopt it. And the biggest problem we had was with the fact that Wax wallet was it's cost money, right? And that just already there, a traditional gamer who's not involved in the space at all, he's like, yeah, you lost him right there, So on the Epic Games, and it's going to be entirely free to play, and you can get started without any knowledge in crypto. You don't need to buy any NFTs. You don't need to have a wallet. It's all going to be in the back end. One thing that I always been saying, I feel like the space is way too over-engineered. We need to come to very simple solutions on the user experience. So that's like something on Epic Games and Unreal 5 you guys can expect is a much easier onboarding experience. But at the same time, we have a lot of things cooking in the back, not involving the game development side of things. So we have exciting esports stuff happening with the Ascendant series that we are still planning out, but it looks very promising, and there's going to be a lot of news coming up over the next few months. Exciting partnerships, exciting people involved as well. And overall, also some exciting stuff in other segments that we like, other industries like fashion, entertainment, and a few other stuff. So we're trying to go beyond just the Forge Arena. The Forge Arena is a foundation. It's gaming. Yes, we come from gaming, and I feel like in this space, gamers are the ones who are gonna really truly revolutionize the world, not just gaming. I think everything. Like you can see Netflix and Amazon and all these companies, they're actually starting to create content around games, right? So we are creative minds, and we are the most creative minds, and that's like my life mission with what we're building over New Gen Labs and the Forge Arena. It's really to give power back to the players. That's one thing, but also it's all about building a better future for all the children, for all mankind, in a way that, like anybody from India or any third world countries, like, who doesn't earn a lot, and the cost of life has been increasing, and we all know the chaos going on in the world. We want people to be allowed that even if they don't have a PC or some expensive gear, they can just have a mobile and a Wi-Fi connection, and they can start it for free around our extended mechanics in the economy, or around skins, cases, that every day they just, do something, they get rewarded, and they can use that reward if they get lucky opening a case. Who knows? Oh shit, I have a $300 knife. I'm going to go sell it now. I'm leveling up. I'm making more than my monthly wage working at a job, right? So I feel like that's like the life vision. It's like our unfinished legacy. What we're building here, it's much more bigger than me. It's much more bigger than anybody on the team. It's much bigger than the community itself. I think it's actually all about the community, but the community is everyone. It's the whole world in a way,
Yes. Well, you really touched me there, man. That was,
Yeah.
that's how we feel too. Like when at first it seems like, oh, great, we're going to be able to make money playing video games. And then when you peel back those layers, you realize that's just one small part. We're talking about giving power back to people all over the world. Like you said, promoting creativity, allowing people to earn incomes that they just wouldn't have access to, otherwise. And we are really at the beginning of that. I mean, and a lot of us, especially you guys, you've been in the thick of it for quite a few years now, especially with some of your businesses and what's really been developed. You've kind of seen that, really grow. And us, we've only been around for a few years now, and the amount of growing that we've seen has been crazy. And yeah, I can't even imagine where we're going to be in 5-10 years from now,
especially with AI and all these technologies. Like our first job, for those who have it, the Gen Zero, it's actually going to be much bigger than we even envisioned at first. When we first did the job, we thought it was just a skin generator. Then we're like, oh shit, wait a second, with AI and everything going on, we're like, okay, that's interesting what we can do. So I don't want to spoil a lot, because otherwise that's going to be just promises, but you can expect more than just a skin generator. So those artifacts that we call are the holders are in for a huge surprise over the next years. I think it's going to be quite an exciting experience.
Now I want to hear more for sure. One thing I did want to ask about, and I know a couple community members, these are people who are like looking to get into the game. So I know once you're kind of in the game, it makes sense. But there was a few people who are asking, how does the scrap really work with everything? And I figured it would be best to ask you. I know personally from my, how it works from the white paper, from just interacting with the game. But if you were explaining to someone new getting into the game and they asked you, how does the scrap work? How would you kind of explain that?
Yeah, so basically, the moment you play the game, so team deathmatch or the hybrid competitive mode, you basically get scrap rewards at the end, right? It's our utility token, so it's not a governance token. We don't believe in governance tokens, not for now, at least. So it's every token that we're gonna release is gonna have utility. So the first one is scrap. You earn it by playing and by earning kills, assists, or different objectives inside the game, right? So you do that, and you get some get barely some scrap because they're just learning and they don't get the kills or they don't get enough assists. But the moment you kind of start picking it up, you understand that, oh shit, I can farm it pretty well. And the more time I put into the game, the more scrap I get rewarded, right? And then what's interesting is the in-game rewards. So we just actually 2 updates ago, like maybe 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks for New Year actually, we released the end game rewards. So you can get cases, possibility of a case at the end of the game. So if you play, not only you get rewarded with 100% scrap reward, you also potentially get a case. So you can open the case for free. So it's not like Counter-Strike. You don't need to purchase a key for it. It's free. You go on the website, you open it, and you get also in-game rewards. Then that's the whole scenario, is the trade-up contract system. So you use your scrap right now. The only utility for it is trading up your skins. So as you know, cases, they have different rarities of items inside. And in most cases, obviously, you get common or uncommon skins in most cases, right? Unless you're lucky and you get knives and some more rare ones, you usually want to get rid of them. You don't need all of them, right? So you use a trade-off system to burn 10 skins of the same rarity, and it gives you use scrap, and it basically gives you a higher rarity case with a float value attached. So it takes all your 10 skins floats, averages it, and gives you a case of the same collection but higher rarity. So if you burn commons, you get uncommon case. So you don't have any more commons there. So you have another chance of redemption of getting something higher, like another chance, basically, right? So we're trying to kind of recycle everything that you are doing from the beginning, which is the first thing is opening a case. How can this cycle keeps going, and you can potentially earn a lot of money, a lot of a lot of money. But I was just, I don't know, for some reason I was envisioning like, oh, you always get some bad items and you end up just slapping your PC and or monitor, and at the end it's going to cost you more than what it was. Yeah, so in that sense, for now scrap is used for that, but we have 2 more utility tokens coming.
Yes.
Soul and
Bounty and Soul, right?
And Bounty, yeah. So those are for now, they're tracked, but they're not rewarded yet. So at the end of each game, if you look into smart contracts, you can see that there's 3 tokens. And those ones will be mostly used for the generator. But there's going to be some other extension to the NFT store that we have where you purchase cases. There's going to be another segment of specific skins or level up system. I don't know much about it. I don't know what we're up to. Characters, utility items, game modes.
Interesting.
A bunch of cool stuff.
I can't wait. Well, thanks for explaining that. I think that did a good job of it, because when people were mentioning what about scrap, it was the same thing. I was thinking, well, there's Bounty, there's Soul, there was even the other one that was before that, and so like kind of understanding that whole structure, I thought was really important for our community members to know, because it's actually really simple once you kind of get involved in it. And I really like how you mentioned things are over-engineered in this space, because that is definitely the case. The way that I always explain it is the difference between Web3 games and Web2 games is you generally want to master the game before you play it, as opposed to play to master the game like you do in Web2. And it's very difficult for people to make that shift mentally, like, wait, I have to spend all this time researching this game and understanding everything about it before I even pick it up. And I feel like games like yours, especially with like Epic Games, what you guys are planning on doing, where you just jump in, and when Wax made that wallet shift where you had to do the deposit, even I knew right away, I was like, I see why they're doing it, but I see how that's going to add some issues for onboarding, more people in. So I think it's really clever with what you guys are doing with Epic Games, just free to play version, let people get in, let them play it, and then I imagine if you wanted to progress over to the NFT version on the PC, well, that probably wouldn't be very difficult, right? You're just going from the Epic Games launcher right over to, the PC version if you want to get involved with that.
Yeah, so technically you just link your EGS account to your Forge Arena account, and you can link your wallet directly if you know what you're doing. Otherwise, since it costs money, there's 2 options for us. We're gonna reach out to Wax and see if they can give us codes, so that for our closed beta, if we have, let's say the first phase is 500 people that we let in, we have 500 EGS codes, and now we have 500 Wax Cloud Wallet codes. So in the back end, we can just make it a very smooth experience, right? If that's not the case and we need to pay for it, we already thought about it that in our battle pass, which is free, by the way, the moment you start playing, you're going to reach a specific level and specific amount of rewards in scrap and our older tokens or NFTs, whatever. It's basically traditional skins on our database until you decide to claim your wallet and convert everything you earn into the blockchain. Great. So we have this converter that already exists, by the way, because 2017 to 2019, we were not on the blockchain, technically speaking, right? So our skins, they already had flow values and rarities, but they didn't have the NFT aspect. So they were not an IPFS. They were not the actual NFTs. So we created that conversion when we announced that we're going on officially a blockchain game a year and a half ago. So for everyone who purchased skins before, by the way, still a lot of people, we call them OG players, still don't know about it for some reason, and they didn't convert all of their skins. But those who did, those skins will be like the holy grail of the Forge Arena. So if you're on the marketplace and you see OG skins and they're not expensive, I would suggest you get them if you're into FPSs. But
good to know. I'll take that tip.
Not financial advice.
Awesome. Well, what about esports stuff that we could look forward to personally as a game guild coming up? Do you guys have any information? I know you touched on it briefly there during one of your questions, some things, but I know for us, that's how we would love to kind of get involved, get some teams battling it out versus some other teams. Is there anything that you guys are thinking of in the next couple months or 6 months for hosting tournaments? Can communities host tournaments? How does that look right now?
Yeah, so we launched that NFT called Ascendance Capsule back a year ago. We stopped the mint after only, I think, 3,000 minted from 11,000. And that was to finance the Ascendance series, the esports circuit, right? So we kind of launched it a little bit too quickly after the Gen Zero drop, and we didn't give utility. And we realized that over the past year and everything we had going. So the Ascendance Capsule, basically, when it burns, you have a badge that is basically your pass for your team to register to register for the tournament, right? So the badge just gives you access to that. And you had also a random Ascendance themed weapon skin. So you had like 2 NFTs inside one, technically speaking. And it's basically your badge that gives you access to the tournament. But now we added, with the new website coming up very soon, you'll be able to use the badge to stake it and earn our in-game currency, which is the sparks, right? So that's the order like token, which is on chain, but it's not tradable. It will remain that way. So it's basically $1 is equals to 100 sparks, and you use that to purchase cases, unless you buy them for wax on the secondary market sales, right? So in terms of esport, we realized what we did wrong for that specific drop. We had big vision. We still do. Now at least it's more tunnel vision. So with the Brazilian partnership with BZ, you can expect that that whole scenario, our own esports circuit is gonna start moving very fast. But in the meantime, we're gonna resume the Ascendance mint. So there's 7,000 available for purchase, which we'll be using to fund tournaments until the Ascendant series. So there's going to be weekly or bi-weekly tournaments inside the arena that anybody can sign up for. You don't need to just have a badge. You can sign it up for it. And until we actually have something much bigger for you guys, hopefully by the end of the year, if not sooner. But things are in the works. For guilds and people who want to host tournaments, that's the last part of your question. It is a tricky one. So yes, you can, like any observation did. People remember he brought a bunch of wax projects together and they started this tournament. We have to help you guys monitor it because we don't have a spectator slot. So if you want it to be streamed, the best way is like what we did with the show match back in March with professional Valorant and CSGO players. People were playing and streaming it, right? So that way you can pick up the feed of POV of each individual, like a Twitch Cup, basically. So that's still possible to do if you want. But in terms of like giving more tools, we're working on that. We obviously want anybody to be able to come in and host tournaments. We have a couple of meetings with very cool Web3 tournament platforms that we're talking to, and some are pretty interesting in terms of the team behind, and we're definitely trying to work with any Web3 projects who understand the vision of what we're trying to do and bring them together. Because at the end of the day, that's the big difference between what we've seen in Web2 in traditional gaming and Web3 in general. It's that there's no such thing as competition, right? It's like everyone is trying to do their own thing and own everything and everyone. With Web3, it's the beginning of decentralization, and it's inevitable. You cannot stop it. And gaming is the perfect way to show it that we can collaborate. So you're building this platform, amazing. How can we work together so that my community can use your platform, your community can use our game and play our game, you know? So it's like it's all connected. You know, we do have ideas of products that we're working on the side that has nothing to do with, well, nothing to do. It has everything to do with it, but it's basically how can we actually make it a reality that you can use a skin inside a different game, sport weapons from one game to another in a very efficient way, because every single game will always have their own ecosystem. Yep. Which is fine, their own economy, even though it's not the economy I would go for. It's okay, but now how can we add an extra layer, the extra sauce on it, on top that is so convenient for everybody? That's it. Wow. Few things that I'm thinking every single day.
That's fantastic. I mean, I completely agree with everything you just said and excited about a few things, but I think something that's I mention a lot too about the difference between Web3 and Web2 is that collaboration. You know, Web2 is very competitive driven. You know, if you're two companies in the same industry, you're in direct competition with each other. It's very often you don't see them working together. In Web3, it's the opposite. We've got nothing but to benefit from collaborations, like you said, and helping each other within the same industry. And that to me is such a breath of fresh air, especially coming from a marketing background. You know, the marketing industry in general is nothing but competition. So even moving from Web2 marketing into Web3 and seeing different organizations working with each other blew me away, you know, years ago when I seen that. And of course, seeing it in all these different industries now is just, it's one of my favorite aspects of blockchain technology, that's for sure. Because why not help lift everybody up? Why not help move the whole industry, you know, towards what we want and all of our goals faster, rather than working on our own projects off in the corner and not getting other people and brilliant minds involved. And definitely looking forward to the esports side of things and getting our game guild more involved with some of that. So we'll definitely be keeping an eye out on the announcements and stuff as that progresses. So I'm really excited.
Well, you see, sorry to cut you off, but it made me think about something that I think it's crazy, but it's not really that crazy. It's like down the road, like right now, yes, we're a studio, New Gen Labs. We own the IP to the Forge Arena. I have X equity. My partners have X equity, but we're like, right now, it feels like it's more of a protection than anything else. In the sense that I feel like our IP should be owned by every single person who plays our game. I feel like everything we develop needs to be owned by everyone and everything. I feel like at the end, like this is what it's going to come to, right? It's like we're creating such a rich ecosystem of experiences, because at the end of the day, that's what life is about. You know, that's how I see it. It's everything is in a moment, everything is an experience, and it's an adventure, and an adventure is meant to be shared. So I feel like that's where it's going, and it's funny how it's accelerated at a very alarming but very exciting rate. And with AI, like everything is just like you can write anything, you can code without knowledge of code. Like, come on, like if you're still thinking that there's no opportunities out there, you're not looking enough. You know, it's everything is in front of you. You know, so I think we're living very exciting times, beautiful times, where you know humans are coming together as humans and not politics or you know like race or gender. I feel like we're all in this
very smart people. We're figuring a lot out right now and
very fast
really rising to the occasion. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, I think that's exciting, and that's like you know I'm very happy to be experiencing this and to be sharing this with the community. And I always build things for my community and never the other way around, you know. And it's just an exciting time.
Well, I have to say, Artur, you're definitely an inspiration, not just to us as a game guild, but I think this whole industry in itself, and more people kind of thinking the way that you do. We're only going to get this industry to get towards where we want so much faster. So it's really been a blessing to have you on and share your insights and your background and kind of what you're building there. And I don't know, I was already bullish about the project before the meeting today, but I feel like I want to go run around and tell everybody about it now even more so. So I really appreciate
you.
Yes, you're very welcome.
But you're the reason it's happening. It's not me.
Everybody is. We all
we're all one in a way. You know, we're all together in this.
We are. We can we can see where this is leading. We know the excitement, and irregardless of the markets going up and down, there's always going to be cycles. We're early, and even that being said, it's just really brilliant to see what technology is doing and all the people involved in it. So yeah, I can't wait to see the next year, let alone 5 or 10. I mean, even within the next year, we're going to see radical changes, especially with AI and stuff, and how that's going to help development studios. I mean, it's revolutionizing the marketing industry right now. We're seeing that too. There's so many opportunities for us to use it with blockchain. Like, feels like we're really just at the tip of the iceberg, of everything.
Yeah, that's so absolutely, I agree.
Now, one thing I want to mention for everybody watching today, we definitely like to jam some Forged Arena from now and then. If you guys have any questions about it, come into our Discord. We'd love to play some games with you. You can often see us down in the voice channels. So, if we're jumping in a game, by all means, come say hi. Or if you got any questions about the game whatsoever, we do have a nice research report done up that our team did that helps explain kind of the whole project in a condensed way. And thanks so much for joining us today, Artur. And thanks for everyone watching today. And until next time, cheers.